Hi, welcome to the Peace and Parenting Podcast. I'm Michelle and I have a guest. I have a lovely guest, Billy. Billy, tell me how you pronounce your last name. Vasco?
Well, okay, so here's the deal. Billy
Okay.
VASCO was kind of given to me because of an early video we did. So that is not necessarily my last name. Last name is Billy Perry. So that's the family secret right there. So
I got all the dirt on
you're
phone
in
one.
the circle now. So yeah.
But what's your handle on Instagram and TikTok?
Yes, Billy VASCO.
Billy.
VSCO. Yes.
By the way, my kids, 2 teenage daughters, they're like, "Oh my God, you have Billy on your podcast. That's so cool." I'm like, they never say anything. They're like, "Oh,
That's awesome.
no
That's
big
awesome.
deal." Billy, he's a household name. So tell us, Billy, how'd you get into this parenting space and where were you before that?
Okay, so just definitely didn't set out to be in the parenting space. Literally just kind of fell into it. My wife and I, Lindsay, we've been married. We'll be 21 years in July.
Amazing.
So we own a roofing and construction company. So that's kind of what we did before all this. So this is didn't really, and we still own the company. We just don't do much with it anymore. I mean, if we can, but yeah, it's this is full time, all in now. We just started making videos. I kick a football. I did professionally. I coach now.
Okay.
But so I would do trick shots and crazy little things and stupid things. And Drew was like, hey, would you do a dance with me on TikTok? And I was kind of like, I don't even know what TikTok was. It was like Musically, I think, back in the day, and that's kind of what I knew it as. Yeah. And so did a dance with her, and she's like, hey, let me make you an account and you can do your trick shots there. I'm like, cool. Great. I like doing that kind of fun stuff. So she made me an account, and that was August of 2019.
Oh, wow.
August of 2019, made an account. I kicked a ball over our house into our pool with this little round thing. And my phone started going crazy. Like, what's going on, Drew? What'd you do? So she grabs me. She's like, oh my gosh, you're going viral. You're on the For You page. I'm like, For You? What? I had no clue what the For You, I'm like, what? So and I saw some comments that were like, oh, I wish my dad was kind of cool like that. Wish my dad did fun stuff like that. Okay. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm a cool dad,
Yeah,
great.
Got it. You did it.
Heck yeah. So not thinking anything about it. Then my wife and youngest daughter come up with this video. They're like, hey, VASCO girls are kind of like, they're in right now. There's some funny VASCO videos going around. They said, let us turn you into a VASCO dad. And so I'm like, a VASCO. They said, just trust us.
You're like, whatever.
And so at this time, I'm still at Billy Perry on TikTok, nothing crazy, nothing, but so this video was made and it just went crazy. So, turned into the VASCO dad, save the turtles, the straws, the drinking out of your, the flask and the, all the stuff. So, and then the comments were like, man, I wish my dad would spend time with me like this. I wish my dad would do. And I'm like, man, what's going on with dads out there? What is and you start reading those comments and it's like, this is like, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there was hundreds of, if not thousands of comments saying stuff about how people just want their dads to spend time. And I'm like, man, okay, so we got to change the narrative here and get some dads fired up and motivated. And so that's kind of just, I was like, I guess I got a little bit of a platform now. Cause I mean, after those first couple of videos, we gained 10, 20,000 followers pretty quick. So
what's your base like? Who follows you?
Well, at the beginning, of course, it was, TikTok was full of, teenagers at that point in time. And, so that was our main, audience at that point in time. So I'm just like, okay, well, eventually, the teenagers are going to be parents themselves. Right. So we'll start getting messages out at some point in time. You're going to, chances are you probably will be in charge of a kid one way or another, so, so we're like, we got to put out this message. We got to have, and, so it just has turned into a really, really, just want to motivate parents to have a relationship with their kids, whether you parent like me or parent like anybody. The bottom line at the end of the day is, man, when I'm 60 and my kid is 30, I want to have a relationship with them.
Thank you. I say that all the time. It's like, it isn't 18 years, folks. It really isn't. If you think that, then do you want it to be over? Do you want it to be over at 18? Because you treat them like that, it's going to be over at 18.
It's going to be over at 18
Yeah.
as soon as, and we do. I know you've probably seen some of my videos where, at 18, them kids are out the door and gone, and and it's just not a good scenario.
No, I get the parents of like, the 21, 22-year-olds, can you help me rebuild my relationship with my kid? Because it's gotten so bad. Yeah. So do dads follow you and follow your advice? And like, do you have a big dad base?
I do now. I really do. It's really cool because, early on, 2020, 2021, it would be high school events. If my kid had a high school football game or something like that, or going to the mall, it would be all the high school kids would be like, there he is,
Billy.
Now it's really cool. I mean, I walk into, a restaurant now, it's parents. Oh my gosh, this is really cool. So, you could see our, audience change over the years, big time. And we got on Facebook too, and really started blowing. And so that's where the adults hang out, Facebook
and Instagram. That's good.
And Instagram. So, it's really cool to see that shift. Of course, I've never met a hater out in public, so that's cool.
Me neither, thank goodness.
But I know there's people that just like, that they think that I don't know. They think my parenting there's no discipline in it. There's and I think this is really cool to start getting that's one of the reasons why Drew and I started doing what we are doing.
The podcast,
putting podcast out so they can get to know that, of course there is, we call them fair consequences. There's consequences for every action, whether it be a good consequence or a bad consequence.
Well, also I love to tell people, like, there's an internal consequence your child is going through, whether you're exposing them to it or not. Like your kid says something mean to you, later on, they're thinking about that. If you have a good connection, if you have a good relationship, later on, they're
100%.
Like, dude, I said something bad to mom. I don't like that. I don't like how it feels. I just got an apology today on a text from my kid.
That's it.
That's it. There's a natural consequence that's happening, and it lets their internal mechanisms start working. So they learn the lesson. They don't need you to take their phone away.
Love it.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love how irreverent you are, though, on your messaging. You're just like, parents do better. Like, just like,
and it's, I've been on a couple of podcasts and a couple of people, and they like that do better just sounds condescending a little bit.
I like it.
And I thank you. And I looking back at it, I can see sometimes how it can't, and I explained it. It's never meant to be condescending at all. Because that's something, it started with me as an athlete, being an athlete. That's just something that I ingrained in me was, hey, do better. I can do better than I did yesterday.
That's right.
And so I'm like, why can't we take this into the parenting realm and do better than we did yesterday?
I think people feel really insecure in their parenting, or they feel like they have to be perfect, or they feel like they have to do everything right. And then they see somebody doing it differently than them, and they're like, they feel judged, even though it's like probably only their
that. And it's 100% not judging. It's hey, I've been there, done that with you probably, and we can do better from it. And if you don't want to do better my way, I mean, I'm not saying my way is the right way at all. We're just giving options of things that can help the relationship.
Yeah. What are your good suggestions for? Because you talk about teens a lot because you have teens.
Yeah.
What are your thing? What do you suggest for any parent out there who has a teen?
My biggest thing is if you can sit down with your teen and you can talk with them, not at them, or, if you can literally talk with them and listen to, I mean, that means talking is listening too. If you can do that, you're doing it right, because here's the deal. Your teens have so much to say. So much, and if they're saying it, if they don't want to say it to you, there could, that leads into a lot of weird things. You got to be able to have the hard talks, those hard talk subjects. I can talk about anything with my kids. Yeah, it might be a little bit hard sometimes and awkward, but at the end of the day, we can talk about anything, and they can come to me knowing they can tell me that I'm not just going to be like, okay, that's it, you're done. You're great. If they've made a mistake, it's not like they're going to, because if I can't talk to them about that mistake, they're going to try to cover up that mistake. And then by covering up mistakes, it just goes down.
And it can be dangerous because they're trying to avoid getting, like the whole getting in trouble thing. They're trying to avoid getting in trouble. So they might end up, in a car with a drunk driver or speeding.
100%. Like they can't call me, my kids could call me at a party. Hey, I've been drinking. I know I shouldn't have, but can you please come and get me? And there's no questions asked. That rule is always in effect. I don't care how old they are, whether they're underage or legal, whatever.
Well, does it matter at that point? At that point, it's a matter of safety, right?
It's a matter of, yes.
If you're not a safe parent, if they can't come to you because they're worried about getting in trouble, then you're not safe. Then you're not keeping them safe. And parents will always say to me, like, well, there has to be strict rules. There have to be consequences. There has to be, curfew and all this stuff, but that stuff doesn't keep us safe. It's the relationship that does.
It's the relationship. And, and it just goes back to any relationship. If you really look at the core of it, whatever you're in, it does, whatever it is, if there's a problem, 99% of the time, that problem can be solved by communication.
Yeah.
There was somewhere, somehow, some way, a lack of, or none, or something happened in communication.
Yeah.
So just a firm believer in talking with people.
Yeah. I really empathize with you, or kind of like, I was like, oh, this is probably what Billy goes through. But I had a video, a reel that went viral, and it got into like some teenage algorithm somehow, like some teenager reposted it, or some actress little girl reposted it, and it went to viral that way. And all these kids, you couldn't believe it. Like, my mom still beats me. My dad won't spend time with me. I wish you were my mom. I wish you could take me home. I was like, oh, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of
there
kids.
It is. And that's what I get daily. I see it daily.
Yeah.
And when you hear it that much, it's not just a kid trying to get some attention. It's real.
No.
100% it's real. And I think some of the parents, that are taking it's like, hey man, there's some bad situations out there.
Yeah.
Don't take it personal but there's some people that really need to get the message. And even if it's not, that's what a lot of people say. Well, you're not changing. Well, here's what I know that we are doing. 100,000%. I know we're making a difference because we hear that all the time, but we are making a difference in the way that kid will, parent the next. Absolutely. 100. No doubt about it.
But the problem is that those poor kids, a lot of them grew up in this dysfunction. It's like, how do we get them the skills and the tools and everything that they need in order to parent like you do? They can't, they might not be able to get there on their own.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's why we love just, and that's kind of the way we put it out there is, hey, these are just the way we do it. If you want to try it. If you don't.
Well, I mean, I love haters when they come on your page and they're like, you don't spank your kids, you're ruining society. Like, I'm like, who? No one asked you to be here. Go find the spankers.
Right.
Go talk to the spankers.
That it always, it does. I get a little laugh out of that because it's like, okay, first of all, who raised you in thinking that this is okay to act like that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're on our page, minding our business.
Yes.
We're throwing our suggestions out there that are very respectful, whether you agree or you don't. But if you would, my kids would never, you will never catch my kids on somebody else's page or myself, my wife, any of us putting people down for what they're putting out there on their page. It just,
there's a whole group of folks out there who are disgruntled for just in general, I think. And they just,
no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Yeah. But the kids really, it got to me. It really got to me. I was like really upset about it for like a long time.
It does.
Yeah. It's really disappointing that. And when you say do better, I mean, like we have to, we must do better. We got to.
Agree.
So tell me about your kids. You have two, you have a girl and boy.
Three kids.
You have two girls.
3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. I should say a man now. I mean, he's 20. He'll be 21 in July. In September. That's when Lindsay and I, so now the cat's out of the bag. We always joked about that. We're like, when are our kids going to figure that one out?
They're counting the months.
Right. Exactly. But no, Darren will be 21 in September. He's at UCO right now, but he is transferring to Indy, a JUCO college in Kansas. He plays football.
Oh, nice.
So he's really excited. We're really excited about that. And then we have Drew, who I just started the podcast with. She's 19.
Nice.
And she graduated last year and just doing phenomenal with her social media stuff and just work. I mean, how blessed am I to be able to work with my daughter?
Yeah, that's so
It's
lovely. I know I told Esme, she's 18. I said she wants to get a psychology degree. I was like, go get your degree and come on back.
Hey,
And
come
we're
on,
like,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely, and see, and that's and we get into because school is not for everybody, and
nope.
it's and Drew is one of those the one that I have the podcast
Yep.
with. School is not for her. School is
No,
just
school's not for my little one either. I can already tell she's a dancer. She dances 20 hours a week. She loves to dance. She's
yeah.
not gonna probably go to college, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
It's not. It's really not. Especially, I mean, how many kids go and then they come out as, without a degree, but with a huge
Which
bill, it's like,
yeah,
and so, and then my youngest, Kenna, she is 15 and she's a little soccer athlete.
great.
So she is working very, very hard to, she will probably have a soccer scholarship. She definitely wants to go to college and play at the next level. So,
Great. You've got a whole mix in there.
we do. It's fan, and each one of them are their own.
Oh,
Are their own. They all. And what I love about it too is, man, they got each other's back so bad. Of course, they love to pester and joke and
yeah.
bother the heck out of them. If they didn't, you would really be like, okay, what is going on with y'all? But at the end of the day, I mean, just to hear them talk on the phone to each other and say "I love you" at the end, and it's just, man, that just like, yeah, they just got each other's backs.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Billy, what's your advice to men out there who are parenting and maybe I can feel like it's sad that some dads I feel like dads sometimes have the lesser role in parenting or they feel like they're disenfranchised or they're not the most important one because they're not the mom. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a big thing right now. And what's your advice to the dads that are out there who are trying to like be better parents?
I love it. Don't be afraid to show emotions with your kids and here's the number one thing. If first of all, the way you treat, whether you're married or you're in a relationship or something like that, the way you treat your significant other,
Yeah.
I feel like that is because I feel like that's where a lot of people get their relationship roles. How am I going to be? And not that they can't get it from mom. I do not mean it that way at all. I'm just saying, but a lot of people, they see how dad treats their significant other, and so be careful with that because you are leading in ways that you probably have no idea that you're leading.
Yeah.
And be able to apologize to your kids, just like they get their relationship skills from watching you, everything they do. And when I say apologize, I don't, there's ways to apologize and there's ways to apologize.
Yeah.
And, we got to be sincere in our apologies to our kids because if, I just feel like those are about three main ways: show emotion, watch how you interact in your relationships, and be able to apologize to your kids. I feel like those are big three things that guys can really do to, improve their relationship with their kids.
Yeah.
If you can do those.
I love the apology one. My dad, great guy, love him. We're super close, but
Yeah.
never apologized a day in his life. And he had some major transgressions. And I just kept thinking, a lot of people in my community have been like, oh, I did the wrong thing. I can't believe it. I feel terrible. And I'm like, well, did you apologize? Well, yeah, but I'm going to ruin them. And I'm like, no, you're not going to ruin them. You're going to ruin them if you don't apologize. That's how you ruin them. You can mess up all you want. I mean, I don't want you to, but you can.
Right.
And if you take responsibility, just think about what that would have done to me. I don't know how you grew up, but if my dad would have apologized to me, holy crap, I would have been a whole different person.
Which would have changed a lot of things, wouldn't it? I mean, it really would.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, because then a kid doesn't blame themselves for whatever thing happened, whatever transgression or upset or whatever. Kids will blame themselves if they don't hear their parent take responsibility for it. And then everything that goes wrong in the house becomes the kid's responsibility. And that's a really heavy thing to hold.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, good. I love those. So what's on the horizon for you besides you're doing when does the podcast come out?
It is what is crazy is it airs right now. Like I think our editor is it is out there as we speak, getting ready to. Yeah, it was supposed to air at 2:00. I think it took a while to get on some of the platforms.
It's today.
So it is today.
Amazing.
Today. So very, very big day. We're excited. Yeah.
Is the title "Do Better," please?
It's talk. You can actually see it's back here. We don't have the neon signs on,
Oh,
but
got
yeah,
it.
talking back, powered by Life 360.
All right.
We love the app. Never to track, but just to it's a great safety app.
Oh, it's amazing.
So
My daughter said we didn't have it, and I didn't want to do it unless they wanted to. And she came to me when she
sure.
was like 15, and she was like, "I think we need Life 360 just to keep us all safe."
See, I love that.
Right?
Love it.
She
Love
did
it.
it. You have all grandpa's even on there. Everybody's on there. And
That's
so,
what we got. We got Gigi, Poppy, Mimi. We got everybody. We're watching everybody just to make sure, in case anybody gets lost, anybody
well,
gets,
what if they get stuck? My dad gets stuck somewhere, and God knows where. We'll know where he's at.
Hey, no joke. We just had a tornado last week, and some people just, I mean, literally an hour from us, their kids got thrown into the field by a tornado, had no clue where they were, and they were able to track them down with Life 360. I mean, they were bleeding, cut it. They're okay, but
Wow.
Life 360 was able to, and that's what it was made for.
Well, that's
That's what a lot of
exactly
people
right. And
don't.
it's like your kids only feel like they're being tracked if you have the wrong relationship.
That's it. That's it.
It should be like, I want to know where you're at. I want you to know where I'm at. And it's not a secret. No,
Yeah,
we don't have
exactly. Dad, hey, you're by Starbucks right now. Can you stop in there and give me, and I can do the same thing. Hey, you're by
of
Target. Hey, we
course.
got a pickup order. Can you grab us that pickup order from Target for us? And I mean, and that's the thing too, is respect. It's just, it's a two-way street. Anybody can bully a kid to do something for them. If you want to make a kid do something as an adult, you can make that happen. But the difference is, do they want to do that for you?
Thank
And
you.
will they offer that to do that for you, even without asking?
That's
That's the
right.
difference.
Organic cooperation. You only get that through relationship.
That's it.
Billy, you're
It's so
speaking
sad.
my language.
How do we get this? It's so simple, isn't it? I mean, it's not like it's rocket science.
No, it's
It's
not.
respect and just,
It is hard when you have the 4-year-old who's screaming and the 2-year-old who's throwing stuff on the floor and the 1-year-old who's still breastfeeding, and you're like, if
help
you
me
don't
out.
do it, I'm going to take all your stuff away from you. And
Hey.
it's like we get there and then we don't know how to unravel it.
So here's the deal. Here's a little fun fact. I'm an only child. So no brothers and sisters. I was never around kids until I had Darian. And so one of my big parenting moments, Lindsay taught, thank God for Lindsay. I mean, we are such a good team. But so Darian was, I mean, he couldn't even walk yet. He's crawling around. He grabs a book on the floor and just starts ripping the pages. And so I take his little hand and I'm like, no. And Lindsay's like, now, hold on. You really can't do that to him, because who left the book in the floor? I mean, I did. How does a baby know that pages are, and I'm like, you're exactly right. I mean, and that was like a big aha moment for me. Like, okay, that was my job to set that book up.
Yeah.
And, he didn't know that. And it's just something that's, that was a big.
So good that she was clued in enough and that you listened, because a lot of times, some spouses will be like,
oh yeah, whatever. Don't tell me how to parent. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's so good, but I think it's poignant. But these little, I feel, do have a lot of empathy for parents when they're first starting out. It's not easy.
Oh, no doubt about it. It is. I mean, we were our first two, Darian and Drew. They were so easy. They really were when they were babies. But then Kenna came along, and bless her heart, oh my word,
sweet love.
We didn't know. She just had and Lindsay could explain this so much better. But she was not getting like the right. She was allergic to the milk or something. So her body was not. And we didn't know this.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out, why are you screaming 24/7 and not sleeping and so as parents, I think that's a good lesson to learn is, there's something that we can help our kids. We can help our kids do better.
Yeah.
Even if it was just to help find out that Kenna was allergic to milk, took us a long time to figure that out, or whatever it was. And we switched over to that,
different formula.
Yep.
So tell me, you have the podcast coming out. You're obviously your
Yes.
presence on Instagram now. I see you on there. You're on TikTok, and you.
Yeah.
What are you doing on Facebook? You just have a page, or you're doing?
We just, it's kind of. I had my personal page over there. I mean, that's
Yeah.
why. And so a lot of people don't know that we are the bigger one is Billy Perry. We do have Billy Visco over there as well.
Mhm.
But people can, and that's what a lot of people, when they come on Facebook and they're just like, if they're a hater or something, I'm just like, hey, you're on my personal page. You can actually now see people that actually know us. There is 1,000 people on here that know us personally, that come to our houses daily, that
Yeah.
are friends with our friends, that are, I mean, they know they're our teachers, our people, that have taught, they see the interaction. So you can see this is 100. I mean, we've been around since 2019 now. If we,
Yeah.
this is what you see is what you get,
Yeah. Yeah. So are you
so
doing anything else? Are you guys doing workshops or classes or?
We've been asked about that, but I feel like because people always ask me too, do you have a degree in this? And I'm like, no, I mean, I'm not afraid. No, this is my experiences. I
Yeah.
don't ever pretend to, this
But I
is
think
just
there's a
something
good
that,
lane out there for dads. Like it would be a cool venue for you for dads groups and dads.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And definitely, yeah, I feel the same because when I see dads out, I mean, it is so cool now, like I said, to see that because, and being a football coach now, we were in Green Bay last week and, there was a couple of dads and they wanted pictures, they're like, and
So
that was
cute.
just, and that to me is like, man, we're really, we're really inspiring. We're,
Yeah.
we're motivating people. And that was really, really cool
Amazing.
to, like I said, to see that. So yeah, I mean, I feel like this podcast is going to be a really
Yeah.
good start into that could lead to some really cool things
Some
as
great
well.
stuff. Podcasting's amazing. I've had mine since 2019. So it's like it's a great,
Oh, that's
great.
fantastic.
Oh yeah, 310
Look,
episodes, Billy.
wow. Great job. Great job.
Oh
We
my
got
goodness.
episode 1 today.
Yeah.
So here
Yeah,
we go.
you're on
Here
your
we go.
baby steps, but I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for spreading your amazing message to this beautiful world. We so need you and we love your voice in this, space. And so thank you for doing what you do.
And I mean, thank you for doing what you do. I mean, it's so refreshing to see, people that just want to have a relationship with their kids. And you
Yeah.
wouldn't think but thank you for those kind words. I really appreciate it. And we love everything that you do. So you will definitely, like I said, you're going to be invited on True and Eyes, and
Oh yeah,
we're gonna
yay. Talking
yes,
back. I'll
no doubt about it. No doubt
happy to
about
be
it.
there. Okay,
Yeah.
Billy. Well, thank you. Thanks everyone for joining me on the Peace and Parenting podcast. And I'll